Welcome to round 4 of the Parenting Roundabout podcast for the week of March 9th. I'm Terry Morrow, and I'm here with Catherine Haleko.
Hello.
And Nicole Eridix.
Hi there.
As moms of teens and young adults, we've survived those little kid days, yet we're still rethinking the decisions we've made all through our kids' lives and worrying about what's going on right now. Today's Thursday, which means it's time to give in to our obsessing about parenting details big and small. Like what to do when kids are down on themselves. You know, we spend a lot of time on this podcast being down on ourselves, but when it's your kid doing it, it's really hard to deal with. We had a listener ask us to address this topic of how do you respond when your kid says something like, I'm stupid or I can't do anything right. You don't want to dismiss their feelings, but of course their feelings are wrong. But you know, when somebody tells you your feelings are wrong, does that work? No, it does not. So how, you know, I've dealt with this a little bit in my family, and I have no satisfactory answer for this. I hope you guys have some ideas, because it's just, you know, what do you say?
My kids struggled with it at certain points too. And from what I've read and from experience, it's really just about focusing on their strengths and what they can do until it becomes that story in their head becomes more important than the other story. So
does that work?
For example, well, I kind of feel in a way, especially with my daughter, that it kind of did, because she has ADHD, which I've talked about before, and she's fine with me telling everybody. And she used to get, you know, I mean, as she was growing up, we would talk a lot about what that meant and how that, you know, what that looked like and translated into relationships in school and stuff. So she would get really down about some of the challenges she had, but we kind of really made an effort to change the focus and look at it as a positive as opposed to a negative. So for example, you know, she'd say, well, let's see, you know, like, oh, she gets distracted, right? And then we would say, well, yeah, but at the same time, you get really focused and you can work for 10 hours nonstop and do amazing things in that time, right? So one analogy that somebody gave me was it's like a Rubik's Cube. So they're looking at it one way and then you just have to kind of twist it and make it a different way, you know, like have them look at it in a different perspective. So we always say to her, even now, we'll just say, if she says something that's kind of negative and self-defeating, we'll say, you know, just twist the Rubik's Cube. That's kind of the analogy that we've given her, because now she can flip it and go, okay, okay, now I see that it's actually a positive and there are other great things that can come out of it. So that's kind of, and there's like a whole theory around that. It's growth mindset and, so that's kind of what, you know, I did as a teacher, and then it kind of translated into my own kids. And actually I'm really happy that we did that with her. It worked for her because she really, you know, she'll even voice it now. Like, yeah, I mean, I have ADHD, but she doesn't even put in a but. She'll say, and I can do this, this, and this, and this, or, you know, this, I'm really good at doing that, or, you know, I have my strengths in this area. And she's really open about it, and she'll, you know, talk about it and advocate for herself. And so, but that, you know, that's worked for her, and that's kind of, that was the approach that we took. So that's my experience with it. So, but yeah, so we just used the Rubik's Cube analogy.
That's a very nice analogy. I'm going to steal that. Flip it. That's good.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's obviously your instinct is to say, oh no, you're not stupid, or no, of course you're not bad at everything, or whatever it is that they're saying. But, you know, all that does is make them feel like no one's listening to me, no one's hearing me, no one's believing me, that kind of thing. So, as a parent, you know, I guess you have to really fight your natural instinct. You know, I did a little bit of reading just because I wanted to try to help. But, you know, I think one of the reactions can be, like you said, Nicole, focus on things that they can do. And also that this might be a temporary response to something. So, you know, they've just gotten a bad grade, or they've just lost a game or whatever it is.
Right.
So you can say something like, why do you think you feel that way right now? Or did something happen? To kind of get them seeing it as a temporary setback versus this is how I am.
That's a good way to deal with it.
It's hard because you want to empathize with them and, validate their feelings. But at the same time, you also want to give them a different way of looking at it.
Right.
And feeling about it. So...
Is it helpful at all to talk about the things that you yourself are insecure or feel that way about? Or does that just seem like you're kind of trying to hog their depression?
Well, I can never relate with my daughter because I don't have that. I don't have ADHD that has been diagnosed.
Right. But in terms of like feeling you're bad about things, sometimes there are things that we feel insecure about too, or we feel self-doubting or...
Oh, yeah.
I wonder if that's helpful. I'm trying to think just from my own point of view when I'm feeling down on myself. What do I want from people? Chocolate, really.
Yeah.
Sympathy and, certainly having somebody say, no, you're wrong is not necessarily helpful, though if they don't say it, then you think, well, see, even they agree. So you're kind of out of luck no matter what you do on that one.
There's no easy solution.
Yeah, but with my kids, sometimes I find that sharing my own experience of something that I've felt bad about myself is, lets them see that it's not just them, that they're not the only person who feels that way. And also that, well, if my mom feels this way and I don't think it's true, then maybe what I feel isn't true either. No, I don't know. Might be helpful. Might just be a way to get a chance to complain for yourself. It's like, well, I can't do anything to help you, kid, but let me tell you about my problems.
Well, let me tell you.
You think you got problems. Be glad you're not me.
At appropriate times, we've also enlisted the help of relatives or close family friends. To, kind of jump in and send a reinforcing text or, message or, that just happened the other night with Kristen. She was down on something and then one of my good friends who knows her well too. And I was telling her and she's like, well, I'll just send her a text message because I went through the same thing. And then she just sent her a text message. So
yes,
I don't know if that's
definitely somebody who is not the parent is always more helpful in these situations because they don't necessarily want to hear it from us.
Yeah,
right.
I always tried to have like a cool young adult in our lives who could, talk about those things because. I could say it 5 times and then cool young adult said it once and it was like, guess what this person said to me? Isn't that smart? Whether it was a speech therapist or a tutor or a teacher or a friend of the family or something, those are very helpful because obviously our wisdom is flawed and, emotionally charged. So you need something that's not.
Right. I mean, the instinct is just to panic, basically.
Yes.
Like, no.
Also your mom has to think you're great. Whereas other people, maybe not.
Yes, for sure. But, it means more.
Yeah.
And it's from elsewhere, for sure.
Then no matter what you do, you're going to lay in bed at night feeling terrible that your kid feels that way with no help whatsoever. Who do we go to say, oh my gosh, what have I done? What can I do? This is terrible. We need help also.
Good times. Well, we hope that was a little bit helpful. And if you have questions or concerns that you want us to talk about, we will do our best. I mean, sometimes Nicole has really good insight.
Sometimes.
Catherine and Terry will just be neurotic about it with you. And Nicole will say, it's okay. Here's something good to do.
Here's some actual facts.
We have division of labor on this podcast.
Yes. But that's it for today's round 4. Tune in tomorrow when we'll share our roundup of things we've been using or enjoying lately that we think deserve a shout out. Find all our episodes at parentingroundabout.com and talk back in the comments there, on our Facebook page, or on Twitter, where you'll find us at Roundabout Chat.